One for many of you watching us tonight, the temperature outside your door right now.
We interrupt this program for a TV6 First Alert Severe Weather Update.
Now, this is for Henry County, Illinois. Let's show you, first of all, what we're dealing with. This storm right here, that blue, that's hail. But underneath that, we've got a rotation that's been spotted. National Weather Service issuing a tornado warning till 6:15. Let's get you spaced here. This is Cambridge. This is Geneseo. This storm will be moving between both areas. If it moves a little farther north, it might get up to Interstate 80 just on the south side of Geneseo, but this storm is moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour or so. And at this point, this is a radar indicated tornado, although we have had some eyes on this from spotters, noting a lowering of the cloud base, which could mean the beginning of an actual tornado. As we watch this warning box extend all the way past Anawan, down Interstate 80 and Highway 6 through essentially the northern third or so of Henry County, Illinois. So if you're especially let's say along Highway 82 and west, you should be taking shelter right now. Even if you're east of Highway 82 between Geneseo and Cambridge, you need to be taking shelter right now. This is a strong storm. And again, you can see the warning box here along with the severe thunderstorm warning for this storm because of the hail, the possibility of some large hail. And we've had a bit of a history of that today. We're looking mainly at this tornado threat. And if we can go over to storm velocity on this one, Cyle Dickens running the radar. Not back to that one, but to the SRV product. We're going to find the rotation in this storm. And again, you're going to notice it's going to be pretty close to where this hail core happens to be. And well, there you can kind of see a little bit of a difference here. We've got this area of red here next to the green, and that's indicating that potential rotation. This is right along and north of 1500th Avenue. And again, giving you a little bit of a spatial reference here. This is Highway 82. Here's Geneseo. Just off the screen would be Cambridge, and again, this storm moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour or so, as have most of the storms. This one's actually taking a little bit more of a turn to the east. A lot of our storms have been moving mainly northeast, but again, this tornado warning goes until 6:15 for Henry County, Illinois. Not only are we looking at the possibility of a tornado here, but also the hail threat, at least 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Could see some hail a little bit larger than that. I'm going to come over here and get you on this product right here because I want to give people, let's see here, we'll stop this. There we go. That makes it a little bit clearer. We've got a little bit of a hook echo forming too here on the radar. So let's first of all get back to where I want to be.
Yeah, and Eric, while you mentioned that, just want to notate that we do have some viewers who are reporting, Train Spotter is reporting a lowering in this vicinity here. So this is just to the southwest of Geneseo right now. It does appear at this time it is going to miss the circulation, at least. Will miss Geneseo proper, but Anawan and then eventually even Atkinson, you were being the threat of this. This will eventually move off into Bureau County. This vicinity, this area where we do have this tornado warning that is now in place is an area that has been very favored for that potential to get some of these storms to possibly produce a tornado. Also need to mention that the hail size has just jumped up on this new warning or an updated to that tornado warning coming through from the Weather Service, Erik, and it's now up to golf ball sized hail and tornado possible with this.
All right. Well, let me get back to this map here because I want to show not only the tornado warning box, and you can see it fans a little bit off to the north as well. There's the blue. That indicates where we're looking at the hail itself, the hail core. But again, I want to get back to the potential for rotation, and we're going to kind of zoom in here. Let's get this to now so we're not looking at all the history. But right where we have the greens and the reds, again, in the middle of your screen, we've got Highway 82 and some more reference points. There you go. Here's a little bit better look at some of the streets that we're dealing with. Highway 82 kind of right here. This is central, kind of the north central portion of Henry County. Cambridge this way, Geneseo this way. This is where we're looking at the possible tornado. Right now, radar indicated, and this is how we indicate these on radar. You see from the National Weather Service site to the northwest where the radar happens to be. This is air, as you can see on our key, moving away from the National Weather Service radar site. In the green, air moving toward, and if you kind of put these right next to each other, then you get that rotation. And that would be right over East 1300th Street, North 1550th Avenue, and again, we're looking here at Highway 82. We're zoomed in, if you're just joining us, right into north central Henry County, Illinois, where we have a tornado watch in effect until 6:15. 6:15, and there you can see, there we have that box. There's Geneseo, here's Atkinson, this red line, Interstate 80 right here, and of course there's Highway 6 just to the north. If you know Geneseo, ever worked your way down Interstate 80, you look to the north and there's Highway 6. But again, right between Cambridge and Geneseo, we have this possible tornado. So what's this all about? What do? Get into the basement. If you're in an old-fashioned storm cellar on, say, your farmstead in the rural areas, get into the storm shelter. This is what this is for. And as we bring this out at about a speed of about 30 miles per hour there, Kyle?
Yes, 30 miles an hour.
Okay.
Yeah,
and see where we're going to be. 536 Munson Center School, Atkinson itself at 606, with high school in Anawan reached about 623. That would be outside of this actual warning, which goes till 6:15. But of course, we'll stay here as long as we have this. And we're in a day where we had that threat of severe weather earlier today, looking at things heating up and getting a little bit more humid, especially on the east side of all this weather coming in. That's where the humidities were going up. You might have felt that today, and now we're getting that instability that's based at the surface with the heat and humidity to kind of pop these storms. We've got some rotation now, and that's exactly what we're looking at with this tornado warning for northern Henry County, Illinois, until 6:15 this evening. Any other info, Kyle?
Just going to switch here real quick, Eric, and show you this. Let's pause the radar here, pause the animation. We are noticing a very strong indication of what you hear us talk about these during these type of events, but this hook echo is something we haven't seen. I haven't seen one like this in some time. So we're going to kind of do a few things here to show how strong this really is. Give us 1 second here as we get the right product on, and there you go. Look at that right there. That is a very strong hook echo there. Very strong indication of circulation. Pretty clear here on radar, Eric, where that notch is on East 1500th Street. Just to the southwest of Geneseo.
And again, our reference point here is Highway 82, the road between Geneseo and Cambridge, which is just off the screen here. And there you can see that we've got right just to the north of the southern border of this tornado warning, which is in about the northern third of Henry County. This is where we're most concerned. So if you're south of Geneseo, along or east, especially even west, but more east of 82, you should be taking shelter if you haven't already. Hopefully people west of 82 have already taken shelter, because there is that hook. Ooh. And it continues to move a little bit farther to the east northeast now, kind of following the top end of our warning box. But for you folks in Henry County, Illinois, especially south of Interstate 80, between Geneseo and Atkinson and eventually Anawan, this is where you want to take shelter, because this is where we have a pretty good indication of, if it's not a tornado, it's definitely a funnel cloud, and it's perhaps getting close to becoming a tornado based on the spotter reports we have, lowering of the cloud. And this is an area we've been watching for about the last 45 minutes or so. And there you can see what we're seeing on radar, looking at what we've got, the air going away from the radar site here, going toward the radar site in green, and that sets us up for that rotation, which is right along the southern edge of that warning box, as Kyle is putting in now, where a tornado would likely be. And that's south of I-80, north of Cambridge, and moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So if you live south of Interstate 80 in Henry County, Illinois, this is the time where you need to be taking shelter. I'm sure the sky looks fantastically interesting right now, but this is not the time you want to do any sky watching. You want to get yourself and your kids down to the basement or your designated storm shelter. Make sure if your kids aren't home, you're giving them a quick call on the cell phone, making sure that they know that they need to be taking shelter wherever they are, because this is moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour, maybe a little less than that, because these have been slow movers today. But you can clearly see what we're looking at. I mean, it might not look clear to you, but it's certainly clear to a meteorologist, and we can certainly point it out. This is the only place on the screen we've got these reds and greens linking up, which is where we would find a tornado. And as Kyle drew that rotation and showed us this little hook echo here, this would be the area of concern. There's Cambridge finally making it onto the screen there, just as we covered up. But you get the idea. Here's I-80 through Henry County, Illinois, Geneseo to Atkinson if you're going eastbound, and time of arrival here looks like we'd be at about 6:08 for Atkinson grade school, 6:09 Atkinson, and that's about when the warning will expire. Actually, it's 6:15 for the evening. So again, looking at this storm, it's one of a few, and if we back out really quickly, we can show you what we've been dealing with our first storm The first warning was Bureau, Whiteside, and Henry County, and that storm's now out of the TV6 viewing area, save the last batch of rain there, which is pretty heavy rain. That's another thing we're dealing with too, pretty torrential rainfall. But not only do we have this, and I'm going to ask Kyle to lift up because we've got the lower third on the screen now, but we've got another storm that's kind of following. This one in Mercer County. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings at this point because these storms have been producing hail. As far as rotation is concerned, the most prominent rotation and that hook echo, you can see it on radar right there in Henry County.
Yeah, Eric, real quick, I'm going to move our attention down just a little bit here to parts of Mercer County. Look at this right here. The National Weather Service now noting this. Good right probability that here east of Viola we'll see a tornado warning pop up quickly. Again, that's this area that's very favored, that the really all the ingredients are in place for what could be some circulations of possible tornadoes. I'll put that velocity product that we've been showing on here and show you exactly what we're looking at. It's not the most well-defined circulation, but definitely is there. Give me 1 second here. I love these computers. There we go. But yeah, we can see a little bit of little bit right there. Looks like right now along it's about Route 17.
Highway 17, yeah.
Yes.
That's, if you get into Viola and head down 17, you're going to hit. I think that's where you hit New Windsor.
Yep.
And then onto Woodhull toward Highway 150 there. So you folks in portions of Mercer County, eastern portions of Mercer County, definitely want to be taking shelter. Again, there's I-74, the Woodhull exit there. There's Highway 150 south of Oregon that just kind of parallels I-74 as you're going southbound or northbound, as the case may be. And looking at putting a timestamp on this, we're looking at 551 New Windsor. There you go as the next area that this would be affecting if it is indeed a tornado. But nonetheless, even if it's not, this is rotation of the storm. So if it's not a tornado right now, could be one right now. That's just how quickly these things go. So if you are in the path of the storm, which we've drawn out here, New Windsor, Alpha, Woodhull, eventually Cambridge, and of course you've got the other storm to deal with, but it looks like it's just going to be missing you to the north. You want to, if you're not taking shelter now, I would suggest get ready for it. If you're west of 74 in these areas, do take shelter, because again, we're suspecting that there might be another possible tornado forming right here, and you don't want to be late taking your shelter when a tornado's in the neighborhood. That is for sure. So we've got a couple of storms here that not only have produced some torrential rain, a little bit of lightning, not noticing a whole bunch of that, but we're also noticing the rotation with these and the large hail. We've had some video come in of yards covered with hail scattered with some of these storms as of the afternoon here that we've gone through. So again, we've got a potential threat. It's pretty isolated, but nonetheless it is out there, and because we do have the tornado warning, that's why we're on the air. Again, there's Geneseo to the south. We've got Cambridge, there's Atkinson, and eventually Anawan down Interstate 80. But look at this right here. This is a pretty well-defined hook echo, at least for our latitude in February. Can you believe it? But yeah, we are talking about some pretty intense rotation with this storm. Temperatures today pushing 80 degrees in some spots, and that humidity that really increased, giving us finally the instability we needed to get some of these storms to pop. They did it pretty quickly, and now we've got some rotation with these storms.
Yeah, continuing with that rotation, Eric, here. But the other thing, I guess, that we do definitely want to notate, because Atkinson and Anawan, you're about to get into some really large hail up to the size of golf balls or even larger. So not only is that going to be a concern for this tornado threat here to the southwest of Atkinson, folks driving on I-80, you should hopefully, if you know anybody that's traveling in that vicinity, get them off, because I can tell you this hail core is going to be traveling right down I-80 from west to east here in Route 6, really just south of Geneseo, but Atkinson, then eventually Anawan here, we'll be seeing that hail core. And we can actually look around here and see what radar is estimated. We've got confirmed reports of, so golf ball sized hail is, and that jives with what some of the confirmation. We got a new tornado warning, Eric. I'll go down to that. Okay, let's go down here right now to...
We are going to take a look now at this. We've got some video, but we'll hold off on the video because we've got a new tornado warning, just letting the control room know. But certainly, this is what we were just talking about. This Henry County, Illinois, And Mercer County, Illinois, tornado warning. This will go till 6:30. Not only hail up to about 1.5 inches in diameter, if not more, but we were talking about New Windsor. You are just within this tornado warning here. Are they within it, or are they back edge of it? Because I see a little. Okay,
they're within it.
They are in it. Okay,
it's a little difficult to see there.
Highway 150, or not 150, but that road right there, kind of confusing me. But no, you are in it, New Windsor. And again, it's not the most prominent display we've ever seen of a possible tornado. But again, we're talking about February conditions here, and there you go. We've got at least rotation being indicated. So if you are in New Windsor right there, down the road to Alpha, Woodhull, you really need to be taking shelter right now, especially if you are west of I-74 in the south central portion of Henry County, Illinois. Because again, we've got tornadic probability here with the storm, and it's because of that rotation we're seeing right there. It doesn't probably look like much to you if you're at home. Oh, I see a big blotch of red. What does that mean? Well, red and, well, here's a hook echo that we can show you here, a little drop from that storm, that little appendage. That indicates where there is some rotation coming around in what is the precipitation mode. This shows where it's raining, but when that rain gets wrapped around that circulation, it makes these little hook echoes, and that's another indication we can show you. Another thing that we've been using, and it's a little bit better sometimes, but we've got this hook echo, so that's actually pretty good, is what we were showing you before. That would have been the velocity, or the red and the greens, which indicate the direction of the actual dust particles within the air that the radar can pick up. And this is really an impressive hook echo right here. And again, giving you an idea of where we're at, there's Atkinson, Illinois, there's Interstate 80, this is Henry County, and a tornado warning that goes until 6:15. This one now spiking a little bit, so we've got likely stronger rotation here. And if there are any spotters out there, I would love to know what they're seeing, but hopefully they're staying safe. Thing is, you want to get kind of behind the storm, or south side and behind the storm, but to the south and west of this tornadic storm, we've got another possible tornado coming. So I'm sure spotters are trying to keep their bearings and be very careful with these two storms. But there's our first tornado warning. This includes only portions of Henry County, Illinois right now. Either side of Interstate 80, from west of 82, east of 82, I should say. Well, the warning is actually west of 82, but now the storm itself is east of 82, to the Henry County, Bureau County border. Here, we've got in southern Henry County this second hook echo here.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Eric. I'm going to go right to here because we might have a tornado on the ground here. I'm working to get confirmation on this, and this is going to be heading right towards Atkinson. If you're in Atkinson and Anawan, you need to be in your shelters right now. It's very dangerous. Yeah, look at that. Right there, we're starting to really see that tighten up.
Why don't we put that in motion so you
can see how we've evolved this. Yeah, look at that thing really wrapping up there, Eric.
It is wrapping. It's making a little bit of a east-northeast turn here, so that's going to put it very close to Anawan, and that means if you're in Anawan or west of Anawan, you need to be taking shelter right now, immediately, no question about it. There's the circulation. This is going to be just south of Atkinson. We'll see, but it looks like it's going to take that little east-northeast upward curve to Anawan. This product here is for debris, and I don't know where you're getting that one.
We're not. I just wanted to check that with some of these reports coming in. It's going to be a little bit more difficult with this, having this such a tight hook echo like that, having that debris signature show up unless we have a pretty well-defined tornado, because where it is.
Well, the thing is, it's pretty far away from the radar too, unfortunately. So the radar beam that we're showing you the data from is pretty high above the ground here. So at these distances from Davenport, the municipal airport where the radar is located, sometimes it gets kind of tough to see debris, although in some cases the updraft in that tornado is strong enough to get debris, and we're talking chunks of roof, vehicles and such, high enough up that we can see it, and just not the case right now.
Yeah, and I just wanted to pop this on real quick. This is something we don't really show ever, but we are getting what we call a tornadic vortex signature show up on radar in both what we call the low-level lock and also in the mid-levels as well. So everything is definitely leaning towards this developing into, again, maybe some reports of a tornado rotation aloft is tightening near Atkinson right now. Watching low-level rotation closely. Very impressive hook is it's word coming from Zach at the National Weather Service. So now have a tornadic vortex signature with this. Definitely a strengthening situation. We're watching the debris tracker here on another product that we look at as well. We might see an issuance of an extension of this warning here eventually into Bureau County. So Mineral, Sheffield, you folks out there, also probably eventually towards Manlius as well. Heads up, because this will be eventually probably within the next half hour to an hour. Look at that thing continuing to tighten up there on that latest scan, Eric.
Yeah, it's taking a pretty good trip right down the I-80 corridor, a little south, but nonetheless, it's got that east, primarily east movement. It might jog a little to the northeast, but again, that's something that we don't see very often here. Such a clearly defined hook echo, let alone in the month of February. These are really strong storms for this season. Nonetheless, we've had the heating and the humidity come to play, and there you can see the air going toward the radar in green, away from the radar in red. That sets up our circulation right over County Highway 5 there, south of Atkinson. This is Illinois, Henry County, Illinois. Right now, this particular tornado warning only for portions of Henry County, Illinois. It goes till 6:15, but again, we could see this extended into Bureau County if this storm holds its strength, and there's no reason to think that it won't. And if it, just give you a heads up here, if this goes into Bureau County is a pretty long county, east to west, or west to east, I should say, so we might be here for a while if that storm continues with its present strength. Anawan, 6:11, Mineral, 6:21, the arrival of this rotation core. Ahead of the storm, let me remind you, you might be getting rain to beat the band, but that's not the part of the storm that we're most concerned about. It's what we're timing out here would be that core of rotation, possible tornado. And again, we're wondering if we can get some eyes on that. Not the perfect situation for spotters to be out today, but they are out there. So as we can get some more information, we will certainly pass that along to you. But that's a pretty bright signature,
I was just going to
on
say,
that green side, for this tornado this far away from the radar site, working its way through northern Henry County.
This is definitely strengthening, and so what we just noticed here, Eric, on the last scan, look at that green really pulse up, and that's winds moving towards the radar, so that's inflow, strong inflow into the storm. That's an indication that this is strengthening, and right there, that is where that is a very strong indication of rotation. Thankfully, it's not in Atkinson proper, but if you are in Atkinson, get to your shelters now. Of course, you want to be in your basement. The other thing too, Eric, as we've been mentioning, is the hail threat, and that is we're noticing a little bit of a shrinkage of hail core, but as you have mentioned as well, Eric, as we get further out, it gets a little bit more difficult to pick up on some of those things. So we'll watch, but this circulation still strong as it ever was here into eastern Henry County. Real quick, I'll jump down for you here to this
one, because you can see the edge of it. Not quite as impressive, but we still have this tornado warning as well till 6:30, because we still have at least that indication of rotation from the storm. We were going to be showing you some hail video, because I know we've gotten not only a few shots on our Facebook page, but some video of hail, and this would be from I believe this was near Coal Valley earlier today, and this is from one of our news cars, I believe, right? One of our news crews was out there, and you can hear that small, thankfully it was small hail, because we don't have to call the insurance agent, but you certainly can hear it. And we've had some pictures come across social media of some backyards covered in hail today, and we'll certainly get you that if we can, but if not, it's okay. I'm sure you've seen a hail-covered yard before, but just to give you an idea of the strength of these storms today, starting with a hail threat and then with the rotation that we've started to see here, we've had, of course, this tornado warning in southern Henry County, and this tornado warning that was issued first in northern Henry County. That one, of course, being clipped for the back edge of the storm, but boy, that hook echo still very prominent with storm number 1 here, that is with a warning till 6:15, and then again this next warning here to
observed
the south,
tornado. There we go.
That goes till 6:45.
Tornado on the ground.
So now we have, as you can see behind me, observed that warning has just changed to a tornado on the ground, and we'll keep tracking this one for you. So again, let me remind you, instead of me just talking about it, this is your call to action. If you are south of Interstate 80 in Henry County, say from Anawan back over to Atkinson, you need to be taking shelter right now. Give it about 10 to 15 miles south of I-80. Anywhere in those areas, you need to be taking shelter right now. No doubt about it, because we now have an observed tornado on the ground with our Henry County, Illinois tornado warning that will go till 6:15, along with the large hail. You don't want to be out anyway. And there you can see some of that rotation as we get that back on the screen.
Yeah, I'm going to get that into a different product. I just wanted to, real quick, Eric, let you know.
There's Atkinson. South of Atkinson is right where we're looking at the rotation.
This is a confirmed tornado, confirmed by trained weather spotters here in Atkinson. They're confirming this in Atkinson, which might be just to the south of I-80 there. I'm going to put velocity back on, Eric, and it might be actually a rather large area of rotation. What we're noticing here is what they're saying is maybe like a surface-based type system where we've got this whole big cloud near the ground, and we might have a couple. Let's see. Confirmed tornado now south of Atkinson. So we got several spotters on this tornado. That's from the National Weather Service. They're calling this a dangerous situation, and this is heading towards Anawan. If you live in Anawan, you need to be in your shelters now. Also, eventually into Mineral. That crosses into Bureau County. Looks like we'll probably get a downstream warning here for Bureau County. A new tornado warning will be coming soon, I would assume. Looks like that will be happening here shortly, but very strong indication of rotation there, Eric, with that confirmed tornado now on the ground.
Looks just a little bit north of due east, so let's do a cone on that at about 30 miles per hour so we can let Anawan know just about what time to the minute that they're going to see this thing. And I see you're almost off the screen there. So I would say a little after this because our cone isn't quite big enough for 30 miles per hour, but it doesn't matter. 6:08, you don't have a lot of time. So 5 to 10 minutes, the possibility of this storm arriving, the rotation from this storm arriving in Anawan. Again, you could already have some rain, maybe even some small hail, but it's the tornado we're most concerned with. Now, as that moves into Anawan at about 6:06 to 6:10, let's say, you need to be in your shelter really within about the next 5 minutes. Get everything and everyone safely stowed away. In Mineral, about 6:15. Langley, 6:29. Walnuts in Bureau County at about 6:45. If this storm continues at its pace and continues with some rotating strength, Princeton by about 6:52 this evening. And so this tornado warning here goes till 6:15, which is going to expire in about 20 minutes, a little less than 20 minutes. Then we'll likely see this extended into portions of northern Bureau County.
Look at that, Eric. I'm going to put...
Yeah, you could really, this probably could be a decent wedge tornado here as we're looking at areas just along and south of Interstate 80. Atkinson, you're on the northern edge of this. This might be just south of town, but just by a hair. And again, look at this. We were talking about a little bit of a turn up toward Anawan, and certainly there you go. Looking at that right there, it might be a little bit of an anomaly, which could indicate some debris, and that is just south and east of Atkinson, right within our hook echo there, so that's where it would be. Again, our debris product not picking up much, if anything, but that's pretty far from the radar site. I did see a little anomaly there, so that might already mean some debris from this tornado.
And I'm looking at a different product, Eric, here, kind of that we look at here, and we're noticing that as well. What I can tell you is that the Weather Service is saying that this tornado is now on I-80, traveling down I-80 towards Anawan at this time. It continues to be a confirmed tornado. Hail size looks like it may have increased a little bit, but we continue with that golf ball sized hail, and this very dangerous situation here as we have a confirmed tornado on the ground. What we'll do too, Eric, is I'll look and see what kind of winds we're sampling here within this circulation. The gate-to-gate velocity not the most impressive, but as you said, we're far away from the radar. It's gonna be hard to really see that. So
and with that product, you almost have to get to the pixel to see what we're dealing with.
But still very impressive.
Still a decent rotation. And again, if we do here, well, let me take this from your.
Sure. And I'm gonna take a look at something here real quick.
Get us into, let's see, debris. Where did debris go? There it is.
Oh, yeah, right there. Look at that. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
And that really shows up prominently. That's right where we started to see things earlier.
I'll highlight that for you.
This is Anawan, Illinois, and this is debris. You see in a sea of yellows and reds, we shift over to the blue, and that's what we're talking about. This is what a tornado is picking up now. If anything, it just shows that this tornado is getting stronger. Anawan, take a look right where the streets of Anawan are. Shelter now, shelter now, shelter now. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're in Anawan, you need to be in shelter. If you're just east of Anawan, you need to be in shelter. This right here is debris being lofted by a rather large tornado that is now literally in your neighborhood. And this continues to move east at about 30 miles per hour. So anywhere in the vicinity of Anawan, think of a 30-mile-per-hour car coming your way. It doesn't give you a whole lot of time to get to the basement, get to the storm shelter, get the kids, get the pets, whatever you need to do. That is one of the more impressive debris signatures we have seen at any point since we have had it on this radar system in the last few years, and that's with a tornado that's as far down the road as Anawan, Illinois, from the Davenport radar site. So again, we're also putting up the velocity once again here, and this shows that we've got that, turn of winds and that rotation that again has been approaching Anawan from the west, and now it's practically right on top of town. So I hate to think of what we're probably going to be showing you tonight at 10 o'clock, but this is definitely a tornadic situation with an observed tornado on the ground. This is all the warning you need to get into shelter if you are in Anawan or anywhere east of Anawan, because again, if you're looking at a very chaotic sky right now, that is why. We do have a tornado, and as we're lifting up, I think, on the radar here, that we're still getting that rotation. Are we going higher altitude here?
Yeah, we're looking at, this is one of our older products that I think got carried over from our last system that we're still working on, but we continue with that observed tornado, confirmed tornado, and it's just, Eric, it's only getting stronger, and that's the...
And look at the hail core,
Look at that hail core, dramatically strengthened there. This is really pulsed up. I'm going to switch things, bear with us here for just a second. We've got quite a bit of... quite a lot of stuff going on here on the screen, but that hail core definitely is very impressive. We're going to put kind of fine-tune radar once again for everybody and show that circulation where that is. We'll take all this stuff off there, and this thing is really wrapping up here. It is really this is something to take serious. If you're living in Anawan, you need to be in shelter now. This is a very dangerous and life-threatening situation now. As we continue to look, look at that thing. It is really ramped up here. Let's go back to velocity, and that is where, some of these products, sorry about that.
Here, why don't you use my palette? Just go to the palette.
That's what we're on. So right there's that circulation here just to the west of Anawan. Continue with an observed tornado. This is heading into Anawan as we speak here. New tornado warning now for Bureau County. This is going to be an extension on this warning here. We'll get that information. Well, there we go.
First of all, I just want to point out one.
Look at that.
Yeah, keep it right there. There is there's the debris signature right there, just south of Anawan. And then this is the extension of that tornado warning into Bureau County, and I'm sure this goes to about 7 o'clock, probably 6:45 or 7.
Let's see.
And you can.
And it includes the city of Princeton.
Yep, and it does include Princeton, as we were mentioning, right down Interstate 80. There's Princeton. There's the leading edge of the storm. This warning will go till 7 o'clock. Yeah, it says hail size 3/4 of an inch. Certainly, it could be higher than that. I mean, we're dealing with the reason why we have that hail core right near the tornadoes, because that's where the updraft is, and you get those raindrops that hitch a ride on that updraft. They freeze, they come down, they get the updraft pushing them back up the storm again. They refreeze some more faster than they can melt, so that's why that hailstone builds, and that's why we're getting the large hailstones. And here now is the that's a second. Is that because here's Anawan here? I think that's an allowance.
You know what? This is we're working on. Yeah, it just slid.
Because look at
it just slid to the south.
Yeah,
yes, there it is.
Still there and getting stronger. Those blues are getting darker, which means that we're talking about a very strong, potentially very strong tornado here. Nonetheless, if you're now east of Anawan, along Highway 6, along Interstate 80, maybe 5 miles north or south of Highway 6 and Interstate 80, take shelter now. This is moving your way.
Yeah, and this continues to be a very dangerous situation. The velocity is just maxed out here, Eric. We're going to show you, get onto this product. There we go. Let's see here. Storm relative velocity right there. Look at that. Look at that. It's okay. Appreciate it.
Wow.
Look at that drop out there. That is about, we just don't see that very often. And this has been a concern. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're looking at a couple different products here, Eric. One thing I'm noticing is continuing an increase. This is right on top of I-80. It's over 80 at this time, traveling essentially down I-80. Eventually, Anawan, continue to be in your shelters. We're getting a lot of reports here, and I'm trying to kind of disseminate some of them here. A lot of people have visual of this. It does look like, from one of the pictures I'm seeing, we'll try to get this up here on air very soon, is it looks like what we call a surface to base mesocyclone, where it looks like the whole wall cloud is sitting on the ground right now, and that is not good. This could be a large destructive tornado on the ground. It just is one of those days, folks, that you need to take these warnings seriously. We're in an area.
If you can effort that picture, I could run radar.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that. You, we'll get that picture, and then we've got a new update here coming from the Weather Service. Looks like damaging tornado. So they're now, this is a dangerous situation. We're now kind of upping the verbiage on these warnings. And
I do want to say that southern tornado warning has
just
been allowed
got
to
canceled.
expire, or canceled,
Yes.
yeah, because it wasn't showing much. Once again, this is our current tornado warning. It does include Bureau and Henry. They've kind of merged the two here till 7 o'clock. So now as you look down Interstate 80, all the way down to Princeton in Bureau County, this storm, which has produced a tornado, an observed tornado. I mean, we're not talking just about radar indicated here, an observed tornado and extremely large hail. Look at those blues, some lightning, some torrential rainfall. This is all headed straight down Interstate 80. Here's about the northern half of Bureau County, and much of that portion of Bureau County is contained in our tornado warning, which goes till 7. But again, just east of Anawan now, as we're working our way with this storm down Interstate 80 and Highway 6, that's where we've had a tornado, perhaps a large tornado, based on the debris signature we were getting here. Literally, the debris in the tornado showing up on radar. We're talking sides of pens, roof sections, plywood, perhaps some outdoor vehicles or semi-trailers, that kind of thing. Kind of like what you see in the springtime from Kansas or Oklahoma. Anything like that that gets picked up in the tornado itself is going to give us that debris reflection, and that's literally what we're talking about, debris. So that gives us an indication that something is there tearing up the landscape and unfortunately folks' properties and homes. So that's why you need to get into shelter. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. We've got this warning here, which goes till 6:15, but it has been extended all the way in toward Bureau County till 7 o'clock. This is a tornado warning, an observed tornado, as you can see on the screen. And again, we're dealing with something right here along and perhaps shifting just north of Interstate 80. Well, there's Anawan, so now we're probably seeing that storm take quite a shift off to the north, although we're still getting some, maybe our radar data is a little bit late, but there you can see north and west of Anawan where those greens and those reds really merge, and that's indicating where we have that turning of winds for our tornado that has perhaps gone through Anawan already and is continuing to move to the east, if not east-northeast right now.
Yeah, and I just sent that picture off to the control room, so just want to let you guys know we've got that. It's a little bit difficult to see, but we can tell you that it does look like a very large lowering. Yeah, and then as this just a minute ago, Eric, this had over 100-mile-an-hour shear, pixel to pixel here, gate to gate shear, which means that is rotation. That is a very strong tornado, and we're looking at this pretty far up. It does look like at this time, Eric, I'm noticing, and anybody at home, this is near Anawan and just to the north is where this is, but that circulation might be just either along or just to the north of I-80 at this time. So we continue with that. The other thing I'm noticing as well is a large kind of an impulse here of the lightning. A lot more lightning is being indicated, which definitely means that we've got a strengthening storm. But the other thing I'd like to mention too, Eric, we'll show you here, kind of we'll circle where that circulation is. Very strong indication of that. Actually not possible, confirmed tornado right now on the ground.
And on that note, you know, I'm thinking about power outages. Maybe in the newsroom we can try and follow up to see if there's any power outages around Atkinson or south of Atkinson to Anawan. Right now we're not getting anything, I guess, reported. So we'll keep on top of that as well.
Yeah, okay, and I'd like to, this is one thing we're noticing here, Eric, you're not going to be able to see this. This is completely now shrouded in rain, and as this has strengthened a little bit, that we can actually try, you know what I'll do here is...
It's really taken a turn to the north, hasn't it? If we put that into motion, if we loop that?
That hook, just look at that, wrapped right up into it, which is not good because you're not going to have visual of this, folks. You're going to see nothing but a wall of rain, and then all of a sudden you're going to have a large tornado on top of you. So
keep it right here, because look, see, we got the hook out going. You can see it here, they're right there, and then it gets just wrapped right up into the storm. And thanks for slowing it down, but there you can see it just gets wrapped right up into the storm. So that circulation is now rain wrapped, and that means with that movement kind of now a little bit farther to the northeast, this gets us into portions of northwestern Bureau County, south and west of New Bedford. So again, this rain, which you can see, it almost turns over to the purple color. Extremely the heaviest rain we're getting in the storm right now, and somewhere in there is where that circulation is. So you will not see it coming. That's why we have radar to let you know when you need to take shelter. And if you are in the path of the storm, based on what we've seen, you really need to take shelter, because we're dealing with some dangerous issues here. Not only the large hail, and that can break glass and come through your window if the winds are just right, but that potentially large tornado giving us a debris signature all the way this far out from the radar, which is not unprecedented, but boy, we don't see it often. And there you see the eastward movement where we're going to go here. Bureau Valley High School, 635, Princeton, 657. And again, this warning goes till 7 o'clock. Doesn't quite get all the way to the edge of Bureau County, I believe, but it does include Princeton in that warning. So again, 709, the power plant, you know, whichever power plant that may be. But
yeah, I want to give you an update here, Eric. We got reports now that semis have been blown over an I-80 at mile marker 31.5, likely is tornado that crossed that area. And now spotter reporting that the tornado is on the ground, completely rain wrapped with RFD, or rear flank downdraft, cutting it off. The clear slot is now, it looks like the whole thing is on the ground. So they're continuing with this large tornado on the ground. Let's take a look at velocity, because I'm looking at it over on a separate product that we look at here in the Weather Center, and it is definitely, oh, look at that. Right there. Look at that thing.
And if you remembered, I'll stop. You set, and here we go. This is where we're looking at this tornado, and if you remember, based on the radar, that is completely in the area of the most heavy rain. Spotter just said it's rain wrapped, so we don't need anybody out there, especially untrained eyes, trying to find this thing. Those untrained eyes, and anybody else really, needs to get below ground now. Need to take your shelter in eastern Henry County, and for that point, western Bureau County, as the storm will swing up into at least northwestern Bureau County if it doesn't show a lot more eastward movement.
Okay, Eric, we're going to toss it over to the news desk here with Redrick Terry, who's got an update.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. As we continue to look at some of these power outages around the area, as you guys mentioned a little bit earlier, we're not seeing too much along Interstate 80, of course, which is the focus of where this storm is at this time. Of course, that is kind of no man's land, if you will, in terms of energy. You got Ameren a little bit to the south, Comet a little bit to the north of I-80, and nothing being purported at this time, although we are aware of what's going on out there. Want to bring our First Alert Weather team back in, though. This obviously happening in the month of February, Eric. How unusual is this?
It's very unusual, especially to get a tornado this size, what I'm potentially thinking could be a pretty large tornado, and we've got reports that it is a large tornado. You know, Redrick, we think of the Christmas Eve tornadoes from a few years ago. So winter season tornadoes are not unprecedented here, but yeah, they are rare, and you know it as well as I. If you were out this morning or any point today, especially now to the afternoon, when the humidity really took a bit of a jump and you could kind of feel it. I was out on my walk this morning. I saw nothing but sun. Temperature's already pushing 70. Felt the humidity, and I actually said to myself, I think we're going to have some severe weather today. Yeah, certainly. And obviously, with that nice weather that we had earlier today, some people maybe not necessarily expecting this, although this is something that you guys have been talking about all day. What should people be doing in this situation? Well, in this situation, anybody in that warning or near it, because remember, warnings are issued for areas that will likely get severe weather, but also if you're adjacent to the warning box. New Bedford, you know, you're not officially in it, but you're close enough. You should be thinking about, where would I go when Erik or Cyle say, take shelter? Where do I go? What do I bring with me? Do I have the kids? Do I have the cell phone? Is everything all ready to go? A little early, I would guess, for a lot of families to start making a severe weather plan. But even a week ago, we were talking about the possibility, almost a week ago, that this could be a severe weather day based on that 4 to 8 day severe weather outlook, which we were in portions of the TV6 viewing area in here because with that front that's coming through now, which is actually going to give us a little snow tonight. How much of it sticks? That's a question. But if you're in this warning box or anywhere near this storm, or actually in it, if you haven't taken shelter already, this is why it's so important to do. There's the rain. You're not going to see the tornado that is in there. We can, what I say about our radar systems these days, the old radar systems, they could see a birthday cake. Now, the new radar system, we're looking at the birthday cake, but we can get inside. We can tell you how many layers, what kind of cake it is, if it's a white cake or a red velvet cake. We can tell you all kinds of things that old radar wouldn't have been able to tell us because it would be blocked by the rain. Now we can get in there with velocity and see what the spotters are saying. It's rain wrapped. There you go. We went from the radar product that shows the rain to now the velocity, which shows direction of movement. Just think of it that way. And there's the direction of movement. That rain wrapped large tornado, as Kyle is pointing out, that's the direction of the air. Air in green going toward the radar site in the Quad Cities, air in red coming away from it, right in the middle where they meet up. That's where we get the rotation, and this has been very prominent, not only from our velocity or direction product, but also from our debris product. We were able to see debris from this tornado. That was our first clue that it's a large tornado, and as Kyle pointed out from what some of the spotters are saying, they have confirmed it is a large tornado, and it has either gone through or very near Anawan, Illinois, and it's still in there, now moving its way in toward, this is western Bureau County here. First of all, let me outline this. That's the edge of the tornado warning. It goes like this, and then down and back to the east. This is the county line of Bureau County and Henry County, Illinois. There's New Bedford and Bureau County, and that tornado is somewhere right in here, just about ready to make it into northwestern or western portions of Bureau County. So if you know New Bedford, but New Bedford is to your east or northeast, you need to be taking shelter right now, especially if you live in Bureau County, because there's that storm, and our rain-wrapped tornado is somewhere right close to that intersection of the tornado warning box itself and the Bureau County line. So that's what we've been dealing with here. So you need to take shelter. That's the most important thing for anybody to do right now. And if you're, say, downstream and you've got some time, I call them the golden minutes. If you are in Walnut, south of Walnut, or east of a line south of Walnut toward Princeton, this is that time where you think, okay, what do I do? If they say take shelter, what do I do? What do I take with me? Cell phone, already charged. Know where the kids are. Bring the pets. If you have a pet carrier or pet carriage or something like that, you don't want the pets to freak out in the shelter or downstairs, wherever it might be. Keep them in that carrier with you, or that pet crate with you. All right, here's from Walnut. Really nice shot. I mean, in terms of photography, this is just a beauty. You've got the rain shaft coming down here. You see the parent cloud and a lightning bolt through it. And if you were seeing this on a severe weather day and it was getting closer, that alone would be enough to say, yeah, it's time to think about getting into the shelter. That's a beautiful shot. Right. Whoever sent it, I'm not sure.
Hey, Erik, I want to give you a quick update here. First off, real quick, because it looks like we've quickly seen this weekend, we're now back to what we call a radar indicated tornado. You saw that banner there turned back to red, which indicates that looks like things have weakened pretty substantially, but that's good news. We still have that tornado possible there, just nothing confirmed on the ground, and it's going to be much harder to confirm that. But what we're noticing here, and one thing we can mention is it looks like at this point, zooming out, The only concern is going to be Henry and Bureau County, and eventually here, probably within the next 10 minutes or so, Henry County could be out of the concern. So really, Bureau County, that's where we're focused on this right now. So all other areas listening to us here in the TV6 viewing area, you're clear.
And I think these are kind of locked right in front of the cold front. Let me take over just for because I want to show people the wind.
And while you do that, just want to mention to people, we got a lot of people sending us some great information, great pictures. We appreciate that. You can send them into Facebook or also email at news@kwqc.com. Let's go to a picture that was just sent to us, and yeah, you can see that hail there. That is some pretty large hail, and that is going to be the deal. That is probably just about maybe above golf ball size, I would say, Eric. The next thing too is maybe getting closer to ping pong ball, or even higher than that.
Probably pool ball.
Yeah, I would say
ball.
Egg hen, is that what the egg? Yes.
Here's what I wanted to show you. Look at the winds now gusting. Boy, if you're picking up these 30-mile-plus-per-hour gusts right now, look at that. Iowa City, 51 miles per hour, 38 in Denver, 40 in Washington. This is the cold air coming into those northwest winds. This is what's pushing all those storms along. Thankfully, they look to be weakening a little bit, but now we're getting into a situation where tonight, right through the morning hours, we're going to have these gusts around 30 to 40 miles per hour. These are attached to some very cold air. That's going to shove your wind chills down. Even this evening, temperatures are going to take a quick and sharp drop. By morning time, remember what winter was like? We'll have wind chills either side of zero, maybe -5 to 5 above. So that's just a look at where these storms are being pushed from. But I do want to get back to the storms themselves.
While you do that, Eric, I just want to mention to all the people sending us messages in, we cut into programming when there are tornadoes, and certainly in this situation there is. That is why we're on. There was an actual tornado.
I want to point out something. You know, we're on the air for people who live within this box and people around this box. Here's the Quad Cities. If that box was on the air, or if that box was over the Quad Cities, I'd be on the air. If it was over DeWitt, we'd be on the air. If it was over Clinton, TV6 would be on the air. It's a tornado, people, tornadoes. And these people here within the path of this storm are dealing with a storm that I don't want to really... I hesitate to say I want to find out what happened in Anawan to see how accurate everything was. Anawan, or areas near Anawan, could be dealing with what was a very large tornado based on our spotter reports. When there's a tornado warning, it becomes a lot more important than TV shows. And right now, what we're covering up is the TV6 News. Right now, this is our lead and only story for this evening, at least at 6 o'clock. So that's why we're on. As long as this tornado warning is in effect, we'll be on the air. And as you can see, we still have this storm in the tornado warning itself. But here's something that Kyle was just mentioning. It looks to be weakening a little bit. And as far as this warning is concerned, it's still going. And as long as it's going, we're going to be on the air. But if there is some good news somewhere within this rain, that tornado signature seems to be weakening a little bit. But we're still going to track it as long as we suspect, and the National Weather Service suspects there's a tornado on the ground.
Yeah, and interesting here that we continue with this tornado debris signature, and you could see that we do have that continuing there. So I'm going to go to correlation coefficient, or the debris tracker, and to just see see if we have anything. I'm not seeing it, but we got to watch for that.
Yeah, if you go to velocity, I'm interested in seeing where the velocity shows that there might be a tornado. The only anomaly I'm seeing is right here at the western end of that box, but I thought the tornado itself might be a little farther north. So if you go to velocity, let's take a look and see what it's going to be showing us. We've got... Yeah,
let's see here. Okay, there we go. Right there. We'll get the proper table put on.
It is a little bit muddled, but there are still some signs of something going on right around here. You know, and again, away towards some maybe this, and that's kind of where that debris signature is showing up a little bit. But no, okay, so it's up to the north here. But boy, it did really weaken. As you saw, as Kyle rolled that through, the greens were much brighter right there.
Yeah, that's where it was, right there.
And this is that turn we were talking about, it possibly making to the northeast a little bit farther. And as it did, it got into the rain. That kind of cuts things off a little bit. So where the lightning is, still looking at the possibility of a tornado. Spotters now still having a lot of trouble finding it because of the deep rain that it's within.
Yeah, Yeah, and kind of what we're seeing here too, Eric, is as this has continued to push off into Bureau County, we had that circulation. I'll point this out here. Right there's where that tornado was. Looks like it crossed 80. We were getting reports of semis that were blown over in that vicinity. Hopefully everybody was able to get off.
And that's another thing too. I mean, folks, we've had semis blown off of Interstate 80, so this is a serious storm. When it's your neighborhood, we're going to be there for you. Tonight, it's these neighborhoods here and the neighborhoods back to the west. We're here for them. Just as, again, if it's not your neighborhood tonight, the next time it is, we'll be here for you.
Yeah,
that's
and,
our promise.
And even here, Eric, the hail core has completely collapsed. There might still be some pea-sized hail, but boom, 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 and then just gone.
And that's the thing. This warning will possibly be canceled well before 7 o'clock. It's been issued till 7 o'clock. And again, think of the time right now. We're getting closer to sunset, so this is typically when things start to weaken. Had that storm held its own, I mean, we'd be looking at carrying on till 7 o'clock with this warning. Right now, though, the way things are developing in the last few minutes, I can see a possibility for this warning to be canceled before 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and I think we've had also outside of the viewing area here in Lee County, Illinois, up to near Mendota, there's been just a titanic storm that has formed north of the Mendota area here, eventually along the I-39 corridor. But what we're noticing here is this storm continuing on into Bureau County. We'll zoom in a little bit here and kind of give you folks some idea of where we're tracking this. We'll have to watch. Looks like another maybe little appendage, if you will, starting to develop, and those you got to watch, especially as we zoom out. There's nothing to the southeast of this, so it's got that warm air still kind of feeding into that, and so if it can kind of tap into that, yeah, we could see this thing reorganize. So I wouldn't say the threat's completely over, but definitely just does not look anywhere near what it did here when it was out in Henry County.
Yeah, and we've got the parent thunderstorm here, but the farther east it goes, away from that incoming cold air, which now we've seen our temperatures here in the Quad Cities start to drop. We're at 56 as of the hour, 52 in Davenport, and we've got 41 in Maquoketa. So yeah, the cold air is coming in from the west, but these storms are still in an area where they're getting that flow from the south, southwest ahead of the front, which might be feeding into that there, which is another potential hook echo. That's why Kyle was highlighting that. And if we do go over to well, we're going to do a little track here right now. Casimir 657. Again, these are areas far out toward eastern Bureau County, mostly without or not within the warning box itself. Let me take this.
Let you take it over there real quick. And I'm looking at something here. We've got a lot of viewer reports coming in, and again, we really appreciate that. So here we are. The Weather Service is going to continue this tornado warning. They've dropped the hail size back down to quarters, and this is a radar indicated rotation, and that is located over Manlius at this time, or 13 miles to the west of Princeton. They still have this. Weather Service is continuing with an easterly track, but we're noticing. I've kind of noticed here, Eric, the last few scans. Looks like it might be trying to jog a little bit to the northeast, but maybe this is splitting off a little bit too, and kind of might be something that we have to watch as that goes through central Bureau County. Yeah,
there are two cores here of at least intensity, and there's the break. We've got this one with a larger hail core, although it is collapsing a little bit, and then this one's still up toward northeastern Henry County, Illinois. But this warning will continue until 7 o'clock, and hail size maybe up to an inch. Speaking of hail, we've got some pictures of hail right now. This is, this is really well-developed hail. This is from Atkinson, Illinois. And look at the conglomeration of all these smaller hailstones into the bigger hailstone. There's your quarter, I believe. Yeah, that is a quarter. So we're talking seriously about, pool ball size hail, billiard ball size hail here, or at least close to it, because that's bigger than golf or ping pong ball. Oh, wow. And look at these stones. And again, you can see the striations. We get some smaller stones, and then we get other stones kind of coalescing to those, and that's what makes for the bigger stones. You don't really ever see large hailstones that are smooth. They're really just conglomerations of all these small. That's a great picture. I mean, that's like a textbook picture of how hail forms, or after hail forms. That's what you get if it's a really strong storm. That's pretty impressive. So thank you for that picture as our tornado warning continues till 7 for Bureau County.
Yeah, and Eric, we got to pass this along. We've got reports of structure damage. This was, I'm going to get this report here, structural damage to a farm at 25287 Highway Route 6, 3 miles northwest of Anawan. According to the emergency manager, everyone is okay, but it is it looks like the whole building has been swept away here. I'm sending this to the newsroom right now. We'll get this on air to share here, but it does look like we've got structural damage now in the Anawan area. So we talked about that. We talked about that potential there, and certainly we're seeing that now that they have confirmed that tornado. And we're looking at the pictures here. We're going to get them on air for you. And Casey, I'm sending these over to you now so we can get on. But definitely a concern here. And yeah, one thing, Eric, I want to mention is noticing this storm here in Central Bureau County. It definitely looks like it's splitting off, and that might actually we could see some regeneration with that as it gets closer to the Princeton area.
Yeah, sometimes we do see that. The hail cores will kind of cycle. As a matter of fact, it's cycling right now. It goes down to 2 shades of gray. Now it's up to 3 shades of gray because, again, the base of the storm is moving into that more humid, that warmer air that still exists ahead of the cold front. And I want to say we will be sending crews that way down Interstate 80 for the 10 o'clock news to investigate and see what they can find. But on that note, I just want to say, don't chase the damage. Let emergency crews get to where they need to go. Don't fill up the roads because you want to get some pictures. You want to post it on social media. Let any emergency crews, fire trucks, ambulances for the people who may be hurt, clear the roads. Stay off the roads this evening. Let them get to those locations so they can take care of anybody who's in need. But again, looking at the storm, there's that southern appendage there. Maybe it's another little hook echo. As a matter of fact, almost tried to see one ahead of that storm, but I don't think that was one. But this part of the storm, we've got that flow in from the south of the warmer, more humid air, which we knew was going to be a little more generous in terms of humidity the farther east you went today. And that's why Chicagoland is also under the gun for some warnings, both severe thunderstorm and possibly tornado, which we've seen to the north. So yeah, they're going to get their share. But for us right now, we've still got this